Welcome to another edition of Against the Grain Sports Podcast Uncut. And I'm your host, Jody Coleman, in the building. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Monday. Starting off the work week off well. Hope everybody doing their thing. I am doing fabulous this Monday. We had a bunch of game sevens, 3 to be exact, over this weekend. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the game one of a couple series that start in round 2, the semifinal rounds in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. We'll talk about that, of course. One of the big shout out to Kathy. She's in the building. She says she's with one of her friends from the Mistake by the Lake. Kathy, hope you're having a fabulous Monday out there. Hope everybody out there enjoying the better weather in the Midwest. We are in the lower 70s, so it's looking and feeling fantastic. But once again, man, we had a great basketball weekend. The NBA did not disappoint with their game sevens. A little bit of surprising situations. Some of them not so surprising. Some teams, they made it where coming back from 3-1 is almost easy work. The Detroit Pistons was able to come back from a 3-1 deficit. The Philadelphia 76ers was able to come back from a 3-1 deficit. So, it's common theme for teams to come back from 3-1 deficits. So, I mean, somebody has to pay the piper when some of these situations happen. And right now we have one of the people that was a casualty of war was the Orlando Magic head coach. He was fired. Jamal Mosley was fired after losing a 3-1 lead. A lot of people say he was going to get fired regardless if that happened or not. We got my guy, Jarrell, Solo on Sports Glenn, all the way from San Antonio, Texas, in the building. What's good, my boy?
What's going on, man? How you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. Like I said, we was going over some NBA. It was a lot of NBA action this weekend, a lot of game sevens.
Yeah.
Did not really disappoint, man. But before we get to those game sevens, man, let's talk about something that was interesting. The Orlando Magic said we're going to part ways with head coach Jamal Mosley. Talk to everybody about that situation, about Orlando going in a different direction after making the playoff 3 straight seasons, but going out in the first round in each one of them.
I think what really got him this time, Jody, there's been talk of firing this guy anyway. Not that I agree with it, but it's been talk of him and the star player, Pablo, bumping heads. In the NBA, if your star player don't get along with the head coach is probably going to get fired. And losing that 3-1 lead, like you said, and blowing that game 6, that don't help his resume at all. So him losing that game 7 yesterday, just sealed his fate. I don't know who they're gonna try to get. I'm pretty sure there's some other guys out there they probably had in mind since those rumors have already been out there. But hopefully Sam Cassell or somebody else that we've been wanting to get a job and get a shot at this time.
It's crazy because the team that Billy Donovan name is starting to rise to the top of the coaching. And I'm like, he didn't do anything in Chicago, but you want him to come in Orlando and change the trajectory of Orlando. When I thought that he was, they lost in the first round for 3 straight years. I get it, but you got to go through growing pains and you got to get some help. You were without your arguably this 1A, 1B player, and Fran Wagner was not even available in that series. And I think if he was available in game 6, I don't think they lose. Real quick, Donald said he was fired regardless. Once Ventura expressed he was unhappy with him, he had to go. That's my nephew, Donald, the voice of the youth. Got my man, Eagles Philly, in the building. He said, good evening, good brothers. Keep doing things. Stay safe and stay blessed. I know you happy. Your 76ers are going on. They're about to play. We're going to talk about them in a minute. What's up, Farrah? Farrah in the building. She said, Western WSG fam was good. Farrah in the building. Donald said, like I always say, the coach just gets blamed, but he don't miss 23 straight shots. That was the players. So a lot of people are saying Billy Donovan's name is starting to rise to the top. You like Sam Cassell. I like Jerry Stackhouse. I think that those guys should get opportunities to get head coaching jobs. I'm also a big fan of bringing in Adrian Griffin, a guy that had much success with the Milwaukee Bucks before he was fired because he didn't get along with the star player. But I don't think it's going to matter what coach you bring in there. So if you cannot get any complimentary players with this Orlando Magic team, like I said, Ventura is a number two in my opinion. He did have a 36-point outing last game. It wasn't enough. The team basically got dismantled, and the game was over. Like we all called that it was going to be a blowout past the sticks. So what do you think is the future for the Orlando Magic? Can any coach come in with this same team and have the same success that Mosley had?
Probably not with the same team. They're going to have to make some change to the roster. Man, the Eastern Conference is wide open. Even right now, we still don't know who the best team in the East is. We're down to the Final Four. We don't know which one of these teams is actually really the better of the four teams. So I think little tweaks to the roster, and I guess a new coach might help things out, and maybe they can make a run towards the Eastern Conference Finals next year. Who knows, man?
I think with this roster alone, I don't think it's enough with this roster. I honestly think that Benchero, if he's going to be a lead dog, Fran Wagner, you got to get. I like the kid on the perimeter. What's the kid? The guard,
Black.
the all defensive
Black.
kid. Out of not Black is good, but I'm talking about what's the other kid? I can't remember. He's out of Gonzaga, played quarterback in high school, and
he can't shoot though. That's
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's a good player.
What's his name?
He can't shoot. Jalen something.
What's his name?
Isn't it Jalen something?
Suggs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Suggs. Yeah, Jalen Suggs, man. So I'm really disappointed in him offensively. He's challenged offensively, and Wendell Carter just be out there just running up and down the goddamn court. Like he's definitely got to be a guy come off the bench, man. This guy he blocks a few shots. He doesn't rebound that well. He got bullied in the paint by Dorm in his last game. But nevertheless, man, I think Mosley got a raw deal. I think he should have kept at least got it together for one more year. I'm really not happy about that. Kathy said, Jody, Anthony Edwards said he's 1980s. There would be no skilled players, only Michael Jordan. That's crazy work. Let's talk about that for a minute before we move on to the next segment. What do you think about that? You think that that's accurate? Matter of fact, let me put her comment up on here so you can see what I'm talking about. So Kathy said, let me show it right here. Boom. She said, why is it not showing up? There it is. She said, Anthony Edwards said, oh, there it goes. I don't know why it's taking all day. She said Anthony Edwards said that in the 80s there were no skilled players, only Michael Jordan. What do you feel about that? Like it's like they constantly taking shots at the past, but then they get mad when the past takes shots at the future.
Yeah, I don't agree with this statement at all. Playing in the post is actually a skill that people don't have anymore. So there's a lot of skilled basketball players in every generation. I'm not going to sit here and say these guys are better than the guys from the past, or the past are better than the new guys. They're all great basketball players. So for him to say that, that's extremely disrespectful to the guys that built this league. You wouldn't be making the money you're making now if it wasn't for those players in the 80s that didn't have any skills.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like it because I think everybody has a skill and everybody learns from the generation before them. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Jordan learned from Dr. J. You know what I'm saying? Kobe Bryant learned from Michael Jordan. LeBron James took some from Magic and Jordan and Bird and all those guys. He took it, everybody. And then guess what? The next upcoming star is going to take some from LeBron James and Victor Wembanyama and Kevin Durant. And they're going to it's going to be 15 years from now. They're going to say those guys wasn't skilled or those guys couldn't shoot. There's going to be always something. I think this, like you always say, this is the only sport that does this shit. NFL don't do this shit. Baseball don't do this shit. Hockey don't do this shit. But the NBA always shit on the past players, the present players, shit on the past players, the past players shit on the regular. Like this, let's play basketball and enjoy this shit. Because like I said, none of this shit is guaranteed. Like I said, LeBron James is about to retire in any year, any moment now. And I just want to enjoy these players while they're here. Donald said Suggs is cool, but the boy just got shot eight for 41. If you can't shoot, you're toast. He said so. Since Durham outplayed Wendell Carter, does he get Angel Reese back? That's crazy. That was crazy.
Does he
right
want
there.
it back?
Right, that's crazy work. That's crazy. But also Donald said he said the crazy she brought the topic up. I was watching the old finals at work, and I believe that Ben Simmons is closer to Magic Johnson ability wise than Magic is to LeBron ability wise. And she said this pisses me off. She talking about the statement. And my thing is why we keep talking about Ben Simmons like that nigga wasn't the truth when he first got in the league. Like let's keep it real. I know everybody is he's a running joke and shit. Ben Simmons was really good when he got in the league. Like his first 4 years in the NBA before what his demise was in the playoffs and playing the Atlanta Hawks, and he had a layup and he passed up on a layup. From that point on, I don't know what the fuck happened to Ben Simmons. But go check Ben. I want people to go and be a historian of the game. Go check Ben Simmons' numbers and how effective Ben Simmons was on that court. Now, after his 4th year, I don't know what the fuck happened to him. After his 4th year in the league, he ended up being a shell of himself. He was one of the best defenders in the NBA, one of the best ball handlers. He just couldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot. He was scared to shoot, and that was the problem. He was scared to shoot, but it's a lot of disrespect when it comes to Ben Simmons.
How you be scared to shoot, Jody? You're in the NBA. Why are you scared to shoot the rock? You don't have to shoot it like 20 times a game, but you got to find the sweet spots on the court that you're good at. That means he didn't want to make his game better. That's how I look at it.
I mean, I think he got satisfied with the amount of money he was making, but Ben Simmons, the fact that we say that he was never good is what pissed me off. Like that really bothers me. Like, do y'all watch basketball? Like the nigga's first 4 years, he was a 2-time All-Star, all defensive player, all NBA. I think he was like 3rd team all NBA. It's people that played their whole career and never had that fucking accolades that he had in his first 4. So, Donald said just had it. He's just how it works. Like Wemby, Cooper Flag, and those guys are by far better than the guys of my era. Just now, how things get better as it goes on. He said, I agree. Ben Simmons was really talented. That wasn't a slight at Magic. Ben was talented. Just going back to high school and college days. They say he never really loved to play basketball, and that probably was what it was. He didn't love the game.
And he got some of that Kardashian curse. I think he was with one of them Kardashians. That probably cursed him too.
They sprinkle some of that they little juices on them.
Yes, sir.
On them. So they made the father want to. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let me shut up. Right, let's go ahead and talk about our game. The semifinals round is here. The second round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. We got a game 1 that's about to tip off at 8:12 Eastern time. Philadelphia 76ers will play against the Knicks. We didn't think the 76ers was going to be here after, being down 3-1 against the Boston Celtics, the mighty Boston Celtics, and how they were losing to the Boston Celtics. We never thought that they would be here at this position, but now they're here. And a lot of people really think that Philly can really make a run. My nephew said it even before the season was over. He said that he really thought that, Philly could really make a run and be the finals representative for the Eastern Conference. What do you think happens tonight in game 1? Where the Knicks look like they're the best team in the Eastern Conference after what they did to the Atlanta Hawks?
The Knicks got plenty of rest. They haven't played in quite some time. Last time we saw them play, they were beating somebody by 50 points. The Philadelphia 76ers had to fight to get to this round. Joel Embiid was limping up and down the court. Game 7 in the first round. I think the Knicks get them tonight. I think the Knicks easily win the game today. I'm not saying Philly's out of the series, but I think tonight the Knicks, all that rest they've had, I think they're gonna be ready to play some ball tonight. And Joel Embiid, they don't even know if he's even going to play. I think he's a game time decision or something. He banged his knee. He just that guy, man. It's like he just can't stay healthy. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. His health has always been his issue. We all know that. So I just don't trust him to go for them to win this series. I just don't think he'll be able to stay in every single game. They do have a lot of young, good guards on their roster. I really do like Edgecombe and some of the other players they have. But I think the Knicks win tonight.
Okay. Kathy said, I think he got comfortable and lost his passion for the game. She's talking about Ben Simmons. What's up, T Sizzle? Tasha in the building. She said, what's up to the guys? She said she don't trust the Knicks. She said she don't trust the Knicks at all. My thing is tonight, man. I think that the Knicks, and it could go game to game on who's the best team in the Eastern Conference because I don't think none of them motherfuckers are really any good. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's like you got the best of the worst in the Eastern Conference, man. It's no way the Detroit Pistons is supposed to be the best team in the Eastern Conference, and Detroit won 60 games, and you just battled with a team that can't shoot 3-point shots, and you went to 7, even though you won it, but you went to 7 with an 8th seed. Orlando was an 8th seed for a reason. The Boston Celtics lived and died by the 3. They died by it, even though Jason Tatum didn't play in the last game. And we'll get to the comments that were made by Jaylen Brown after we get through with these segments. The Philadelphia 76ers, all of a sudden they healthy and now they're good.
I just can't trust the Sixers, man. Their health is just scares me. It's kind of like when you think about Joel Embiid, it's like I gotta go 50 miles, but I only have enough gas in my car to go 30. I just don't trust that guy. I just don't think he gonna get them to the finish line. He's got all the talent. It's not the talent with him. It's just health. I mean, he's the difference maker in every game he plays. If he's out there, he's damn near unstoppable because no one can really check this kid. He can do it all on the court. It's just when he's able to play, which he doesn't do it every single game. We already know that. I definitely don't trust him.
My thing is, I think that it's just a lot. It's just not a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference, and it's just like even with the 76ers, I think that they are more talented than the Knicks overall. If you look at it from top to bottom, with Paul George playing the way he's playing, I think that with Mad Max is just as good as anybody in the league, and Embiid, when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in the league. But when you look at the Knicks, I just think they might have finally figured it out. I think the Knicks win this game. I think the Knicks actually win this series in 6, but we go game by game. I think the Knicks win this game at home. The way they're running the offense through Karl Anthony Towns, making him like how they use the Joker, kind of using him as a point center. He's touching the ball almost on every possession, which is going to put pressure on Embiid because if you look at the last series, when they played Boston, first of all, I'm gonna get to the Boston shit. The people they started, oh my god, that was just absolutely stupid. But then we'll get to that in a minute. But I like the Knicks because they run the offense. The last 3 to 4 games they've been running through Karl Anthony Towns, and he's responded with a triple double in two of those games. He's one of the best big man shooters. That's going to bring Joel Embiid away from the basket, and that's going to give guys like Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby opportunities to get to the lanes and get easy buckets and get some of those guys in foul trouble. And like I said, if the 3-point shot ain't falling for Philly, they can get blown out. We seen when it wasn't falling, they got beat really bad in that Boston series in a couple of those games when the threes wasn't falling. I would force Kelly Oubre to beat me on the offensive end. If I'm the Knicks, I funnel everything and make Oubre take at least 15 shots today. Make sure he shoot about 8 3-pointer. We get about 2 of them if he hits that many. I think if I'm the Knicks, I'm forcing Kelly Oubre to beat me offensively this whole series. What do you think, so?
I agree with you 100%, Joe. Another issue I think with the Knicks, which I really like this team, I think they got enough to win this series, but Jalen Brunson on defense. that's definitely the weakness when it comes to defensive basketball when it comes to the Knicks. Can the guards, Maxey and Escom, can they put Jalen Brunson on skate to make him play defense? That's definitely the weakness of his game. I think he learned how to play defense when he was the Mavericks with Luka. Luka taught him how to play defense. So when it comes to that, I think that's the weakness for the Knicks. But if he can score a bunch of points, so what if he give up some points on the other end? But if he can go out there and score the rock, I think the Knicks would be just fine because they do have a playoff experience. It's definitely more pressure on the Knicks because they are the team going into the season that everyone thought this team is going to be the best team in the East because of the injuries from all the other teams. So we thought the Knicks would be that team. They still haven't emerged as that team, but they are in the Final Four in the East now. And I guess if we haven't given edge to one of the teams left, I guess it's probably the Knicks, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the Knicks are to me the best team in the Eastern Conference as we speak. So I think I'm gonna roll with the Knicks tonight. Philly, you gotta think Philly just played 2 days ago. So the Knicks have been resting almost about 4 to 5 games. I think that gives them a little bit of advantage in the playoffs where some guys can get iced up and get their mental right. So I got the Knicks. Donald said I think the Knicks win tonight after the 76ers play game 7, but hopefully the 76ers make me look smart on my finals pick. We'll see. Let's see if it makes you look smart or not. But we got another game tonight, and we got a surprise person back in the lineup, and the surprise person back in the lineup is Anthony Edwards will be in the lineup for the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight after hyperextending his knee, missing 2 games prior to this. And they're going to need everything because Io is not playing in this game once again. We know DiVincenzo is not going to play in this game, and the Spurs have been resting down there a whole week. Uh, Victor Wembanyama is able to get a lot of rest. We know that they play really well. Castle was playing downhill a lot, so he probably need to get an ice bath a lot. And then we know De'Aaron Fox is. We know he's the fourth quarter killer. Who do you like in this game? The Spurs are at home in Game 1 against the Timberwolves.
Uh, Ant-Man being back, I don't know how healthy he is, Jody. I saw some of the pregame video of him just shooting jump shots. I mean, you can shoot jump shots with 2 torn ACLs, but can you play basketball? They didn't see him running anything of that nature. I'm pretty sure they put him through some pregame workout. But when the game gets going, if he can go out there and give them some decent minutes, not what he normally does, I don't think he's ready for that yet. If he can go out there and give him a good solid 20 minutes and don't hurt the team, I think it's a plus having him out there. But the Spurs, this is the real playoff series for the Spurs. Last series when they played the Portland Trailblazers would barely make the playoff. They don't have no real playoff experience either. They had an interim coach and all this other stuff, so they were supposed to be Portland. But this team right here is the team that knows how to get to the conference finals. This is a real test for the Spurs. So all the Spurs fans out there thinking it's going to be easy. This is not Portland. I mean, I know Minnesota has a lot of hurt players, but do have a lot of playoff experience, and they're real gritty, a tough basketball team. I'm looking forward to this series, but I think the Spurs win tonight.
Yeah, I think the Spurs win tonight, and I'm not being a homer, but I think that Victor Wembanyama looks very comfortable with being a lead dog, and he's getting so many complimentary players. The sixth man of the year in Johnson he's coming in and doing exactly what he needs to do in this lineup. We know that Dylan Harper can take over any game. We saw that, I believe, in Game 3 when he took over that game when the San Antonio Spurs was against the ropes without Victor Wembanyama in that game, and he took over, scoring 19 points in the third quarter. So I just think that right now, I think that they have so many complimentary players. De'Aaron Fox, you got the veteran leadership off the bench of Harrison Barnes. He can get you a couple buckets. They just seem like a well-oiled machine with the San Antonio Spurs. If any team can beat them, I can't wait to see the matchup. It's crazy that I want to see the matchup between Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama, two guys from France. He played a very serviceable defense against the Joker, even though the Joker still was averaging the triple doubles. Crazy work that they call that serviceable when he averaged a triple double. Now, but what do you think that without Io coming off the bench and without DiVincenzo coming off that bench or sometimes in the starting lineup, what can we look for that Minnesota can do differently to try to keep pace and win and somehow upset the San Antonio Spurs in Game 1?
Well, what the Spurs don't have, what they lack, besides Wemby, is size. They don't have a lot of size. And I would say Minnesota Timberwolves have plenty of that. They got Nas Reed, who can stretch the floor, Julius Randle. Of course, they got Rudy down there in the middle. So they got plenty. And that's probably the weakness of this roster for the Spurs. They have a good backup center, but now don't get me wrong. When you got Wemby, he can block anybody's shot from anywhere on the court, but he can't be it there at all times. But I would say that's probably the weakness for the Spurs on their roster. They don't have enough size, and I think they have a lot of stretch fours that can hit shot from the outside for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That could be a difference in this game.
Yeah, I think Ant-Man, it really scares me that Ant-Man is trying to come back so quickly. He just knows what the significance is with him playing in his lineup, that they're a different team when he's in the lineup. Jaden McDaniels maybe have arrived as being one of the better players in the league. Maybe he can capitalize off of having a 32-point, 10-rebound closing game against a team that a lot of people pick to go to the Western Conference Finals, Denver Nuggets. So let's see how this goes. I think that San Antonio is a far superior team. Is their game to lose? Is their series to lose? I'm really excited to see if San Antonio's youth is going to show his rear his ugly head, because we know Minnesota have been the back-to-back Western Conference Finals. So the Minnesota Timberwolves know how to win series in the playoffs. So they're not a one-and-done type of situation. So let's see if San Antonio can do it.
So, Jody, you think with 80% Ant-Man, you think the Spurs are a way superior team than Minnesota? Are you basing this off regular season? What are you basing this off of?
I'm basing it off of what I've seen in the playoffs and their cohesiveness as a team. Like, we got guys one thing about San Antonio is you can take away Wemby, you can take away Castle, you can take away De'Aaron Fox. You still got to worry about Johnson. You got to worry about Harper. And I ain't talking about these guys coming and being complimentary players. These are guys that can be a lead dog on a lot of teams in the league. And I think when you have that and you have a whole bunch of unselfishness as an organization, Versailles can come in and go off for 20 points. You don't know if he's going to go off. Champezi can go off and hit 7, 8 3-pointers on you. And it's just like their cohesiveness as a team. That's what I think gives an extra added advantage. You don't see any egos on this roster. And I think that's what makes San Antonio a threat to not only win this series, but also to get to the finals and actually win the championship if they can get there. Because I just think that egos is what kills a lot of teams. I think people taking tough shots. You really never see San Antonio taking a lot of tough shots. They pass the ball till they give up a good shot to get a great shot. And I think that's what makes San Antonio a team that's can beat Minnesota. Minnesota can fight, but without DiVincenzo in this series, I think it's a different. They dealing with a different monster in this series than they was with Denver. Denver, you had two lead dogs. You had the Joker.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You can say the same thing about. You can say the same thing about the Spurs. This is not Portland. Portland was a team that had no playoff experience. They were just happy to win some play-in games and get to the tournament. Minnesota's a different animal. So, and the playoff intensity goes up each round. I mean, there's not too many players on their roster that knows that besides their backup center because Fox never got out of the first round. None of the coaching staff not got out of the first round. So all this is new to them.
Harrison Barnes got out the first round. What are you talking about?
Like I said.
What you talking about? Harrison Barnes got a championship.
Someone that actually plays actual minutes. How many minutes does Harrison Barnes average for the Spurs? About 10 minutes a night.
if that. But those are the two games that we have coming up this evening. We're going to talk about the other games that we got tomorrow, but let's go to the games that was played yesterday. A lot of game sevens was played yesterday. And I'm going to go with the first game 7 with the Pistons. They were able to beat the Magic 116-94 to close that series out in 7. Your boy Benchiro, he did show up. He had 36 points, but it just wasn't enough. Just think he got 36 out of 94 points. That's over 30 points. So what do you think about Detroit going forward, and what do you think about this game right here? How did they win this game and was able to move forward and go into the semifinal round in the Eastern Conference?
Well, what's the brother name they got from the Sixers that's been there? Everyone said he's no good. What is that brother's name? Can't think of his name right now. That plays for the Pistons. He got traded there. What is his name right now? Anyway, he got a lot of help yesterday. What was that brother that hit 30 points yesterday for Detroit? I can't think of his name right now. Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris had 30-plus points yesterday. He played above his head. I mean, he's a good player, but 30 points for Tobias Harris is something you're probably not going to get very often. He'll appreciate the help because, believe me, he needs all the help he can get. That's Detroit's problem. The strength of the team is their defense. We all know that they play defense. All Detroit teams play good defense. But offensive scoring is the issue with this team. And in Game 7, if Tobias Harris is going to play like this the rest of the playoffs, they might go to the finals. He's probably not going to do it, but he really stepped up yesterday and helped the team out. And they dominated the games like we knew they should. And Orlando should have stayed at home and went to Disney World. They'd have been better off.
When you just said a mouthful, if you say that Tobias Harris is your number 2, I'm not buying no stock in the Detroit Pistons. When you're leaning on Tobias Harris and Duncan Robertson to be your guys to bail you out of something. Now Durham finally had a double-double. He had 15 points, 15 rebounds. Cade Cunningham is a bona fide star in his league, superstar, budding superstar. He's that good. This guy is really unstoppable. But you're leaning on guys that I just don't trust. I don't trust Tobias Harris in this next round. I think they could get by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just really don't trust it per se. And only why I give them the edge is because James Harden is on the other side. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But the Detroit Pistons, they won a scrappy they won a scrappy playoff round. That's their first playoff series win since 2008. So we almost talking almost 20 years before we seen the Detroit Pistons get out of the first round. So, I mean, shots out to those guys, shouts out to those guys, to the coaching staff. Bickerstaff got over there. When Bickerstaff took over this job, it was not a very ceremonious job. This was not a job that everybody was a great job to have. Remember, Detroit was the laughing stock of the NBA for quite some time, and he turned the team around within like 3 years to be maybe going to the NBA Finals, man. So big shout out to them, but I think that they got lucky by playing against Orlando team that just is not, without Fran Wagner, and even with Fran Wagner, not that explosive of an offensive team. So big shout out to Detroit, but Detroit going to have their hands full in this next upcoming round. But I think they still can win it, man. So big shout out to Detroit. But we had another game 7. So the next game 7 we had was the Cleveland Cavaliers was able to beat the Toronto Raptors 114-102 to close out that series in 7 games. And we seen a big man performance that we hadn't seen in quite some time. Jared Allen had 22 points and 19 rebounds to go along with 3 block shots. What did you think about that when you seen Cleveland and your boy did not have relatively a good game? James Harden had 18 points, but he struggled. I think he only had like 3 assists in that game. I think he had like 3 or 4 turnovers in that game. Luckily, Toronto just is not that good of a team, and they were without Emmanuel Quickley and Brandon Ingram. What do you think about this game 7? And do you think that Cleveland stands a chance in the next round?
Yeah, because Detroit has a problem scoring, so they can beat Detroit. I don't know if they will, but they can beat Detroit. James Harden didn't. He better be glad his teammates helped him out yesterday, man. He owes them a lap dance next time they go to the strip club, because he did not help them win this game at all. He did some scoring, but at game 7, you're the star, one of the stars. You're supposed to step up and have a big game, but he didn't do that. Seemed like his heart wasn't in it. Like he wasn't taking a lot of shots. He's like blending in with the team, like he's just a role player. Like he's scared to fuck up, because he probably heard all the talk of the game 7, bad game 7s he's had. But luckily, he's got a team. And like you said, Toronto Raptors aren't very good, so they got the victory. And on the Detroit's defense is really good. So that's going to be an interesting series. See if anybody can score 100 points in that series.
You know what I saw in this series? I saw 2 coaches that were playing players that shouldn't have been on that court. Like if I'm in a game 7, and my job, my team to go forward is dependent on it. They were playing a lot of guys that was getting minutes that I had never heard of. Like, why is battles in the game for the Toronto Raptors? I'm going to ride with RJ Barrett. I know Scotty Barnes had gotten into foul trouble, but what I would have did is took him off of Donovan Mitchell. That's where he was getting all his damn fouls. Take him off Donovan Mitchell, hide him on defense. So once he picked up his second foul, hide him on defense. Make him check the small forward that wasn't a very aggressive guy going to the basket, so he wouldn't have picked up all them damn fouls. This is when I have a problem when it comes to coaching. Am I an NBA coach? That's why I'm doing a podcast. Maybe I'm not, maybe I am. But this is the problem. When you look on TV and you see these glaring disparities in coaching, if you know that Scotty Barnes picked up his second foul, why did you keep him on James Harden? Why did you keep him on Donovan Mitchell? You should have hit him and put him on Wade, make sure he didn't get caught up in pick and rolls, and that's how he got a lot of cheap fouls. That was the first thing. Then you got the point guard. You know Emmanuel Quickley wasn't playing in this series. Why didn't you move Scotty Barnes to the point guard position and bring the kid out of South Carolina and start him and you be versatile when you knew Brandon Ingram and Emmanuel Quickley was not going to play in the series? The guy, she was serviceable, but he should not have been playing this many significant minutes in a game 7 when your season is dependent on it. I'm not saying that he can't get, he couldn't have got any minutes, but he played a lot of minutes when I would have put Scotty Barnes at the point guard position. Guess what? I would have put Brandon Ingram at the point guard position when this series started. I would have made Brandon Ingram. We knew he wasn't being effective by coming off the ball. You should have put him on the ball and made him the point guard and make him be a facilitator. It's just certain stuff I've seen. Scotty Barnes had point guard. He has a lot of point guard traits, and also RJ Barrett. All 3 of those guys can handle the ball, Those would have been the guys that would have been playing 40 to 42 to 44 minutes in the playoffs, and they didn't. Why are those guys sitting on the bench? Your season is on the line, and you're depending on guys like She and some of those other guys coming off the bench that are not that good. They're good because they're in the NBA. But compared to the Cleveland Cavaliers, what did you think about that? I seen a lot of coaching. You can't run your rotation like you run a regular season if you're losing like that. So
another thing, Joe, how bad is the dick in Toronto? He can't even get on the court. He's sitting there with his warm-ups on. His dick can't even get in the game. He's just over there. How bad? Like you said, some of the guys you named, I'm like, who is this guy? And Grady Dick just sitting over there, not playing, a fucking cheerleader. They should have put him on the Raptors outfits. He can help cheer the team on because he was not helping the team at all. I agree with you, man. Game 7, everyone's playing a lot of minutes. There is no tomorrow. There's no time to be resting. We got to go out there and play. Get your rest the night before the game 7. You're going to play a shitload of minutes. It's not the time to be resting players. I agree with you 100% on that.
I just didn't like the rotation. If I was going to play the point guard, Sheed, I would have played him off the bench, maybe played him about 10, 11 minutes just to give those guys a breather. But he played significant amount of minutes. He started that game. And I'm just like, why are y'all trying to outsmart yourself? And this is play with the players that got you here. You know, you got a 3-headed monster. Okay, Brandon Ingram was out. So that was playing a lot better was the rookie out of South Carolina was playing pretty good. So I don't know, man. I looked at that roster and I just was really disappointed on how they managed that roster. The coach, I guess he got a lot to learn. And it wasn't like the Cavaliers coach had much to deal with, and he just got lucky. He got lucky that Jared Allen had the game that he had because Evan Mobley was in foul trouble as well. And then, to be honest, Donovan Mitchell didn't have the best game either. Donovan Mitchell, he didn't play that. He didn't play as well as we know that he could play.
This game was one.
He just got lucky that the Raptors got coached.
This game was won in the third quarter. It was tied up at halftime, and then third quarter. That's when the Cavs went on their big run, and that was it after that.
So I don't know. Before we go off, what does the Toronto have to do going next year so they can remain competitive and somehow get into those top 4 seeds? What do they have to do? What do you think?
They're going to have to make some changes to the roster if they think that they have a core. I mean, they'll probably have to get rid of Grady Dick. I know he was a high draft pick, but it's obvious if you can't get into playoff games, Dick needs to get out of Toronto. So they probably need to find a way to get off of his contract. He's still on a rookie deal, so he's not making a lot of money. They got to figure if Brandon Ingram is that guy. I mean, he has some moments in the playoffs, but when they really needed him to step up, he got hurt or something. He just played bad. They got to figure out what they're going to do with him also.
So who wants Dick? Like, I mean, who wants Dick?
Probably the Bay Area. I would say San Francisco. I mean, Golden State.
Golden State want Dick, but no. This roster, like I said, Emmanuel Quickley, better team when he's healthy. Let's keep it all the way real. Emmanuel Quickley would have made a huge difference if Emmanuel Quickley was healthy, but I don't know if you want to trade any guys on this team. I think you keep that core. I think you keep RJ Barrett on this team. I think you keep Brandon Ingram, and I think you definitely keep Scotty Barnes. I think you find other pieces to go around that nucleus that they got. I think you keep that 3-headed monster and somehow get some complementary players. Like I said, I don't know if Quickley is a starting point guard, but at least, you got to get some more depth at that guard position for sure. And you got to get some shooters. They got to get some shooters up there, man. They can't. Toronto don't have a lot of shooters up there, man. That's what I think. That's one of the things they're gonna have to address in the offseason. Get somebody that like to shoot the ball. But who the fuck want to go to Toronto? A lot of people like the city of Toronto, but nobody really wants to play for the Toronto Raptors, man. It seems like they don't get a lot of free agents up there.
No, they don't. They have to get lucky in the draft.
Let's see what happened. Now, let's talk about some games that's going to be played tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And we just talked about both of these teams, the Cavaliers and the Pistons, game one in Detroit. Um, what do you think is going to be the thing that's going to get the Pistons to win, or you think the Cavaliers can somehow? They haven't won on the road yet in this playoffs yet. The Pistons have won Cavs have won every game at home. How are they? How are they going to win a road game? Because now they got to win a road game to win this series. Do you think it's game one?
No. What I do like about this, both teams have the same amount of rest. They both played in Game 7 yesterday, which is, they can't use that for an excuse. I just think that Detroit defense is legit. I don't really care for their offense. I think my man don't have enough help there, but I think their defense can smother this Cavaliers team, and I think Detroit wins the game tomorrow, one against Cavaliers.
Now, so I'm a big Tubi fan. Are you a big Tubi fan? So are you a
big time? Fan? Oh yeah.
So when I watch Tubi, I see a lot of great strip clubs on Tubi. Detroit has some fabulous strip clubs, and I think that's going to be James Harden's kryptonite, because they're going to get out there and they're going to be bouncing that ass in Detroit. And James Harden is going to be out all night in Detroit. And I think he's going to be too drained to play in this game against Detroit. And Detroit is going to win this game because James Harden is going to have a hangover, not just from the strip club, but from Game 7. I don't know what it is about James Harden when he gets to the playoffs. Does he get disinterested when he gets there? He wants the season to be over. He's ready to go party. He don't care if he win a championship. He's already going to be considered one of the best players of all time. I'm not sure what it is with James Harden when he gets to the playoffs, why it's different than the regular season. Because regular season, he's an all-world player during the regular season. He's a 20-10, 20 points, 10 assist guy now. But when he gets to the playoffs, man, he's a turnover machine. He's playing like he's playing at the Ruck. He's not really taking care of basketball when it comes to the playoffs. Man, I think the Pistons win this game just because I think James Harden is going to average about 5 to 6 turnovers for every game during this series. Because the defensive intensity that Detroit displays on a consistent basis is just going to be too much, man. And like I said, Donovan Mitchell don't play well when he ain't playing in Cleveland Arena. He ain't sleeping in his own bed with Coco Jones. I guess I sleep good. I was in the bed with Coco Jones, but when he ain't in the bed with Coco Jones, they on the road, he turns very pedestrian. So, and ain't gonna be no goddamn sleeping. But yeah, so I just think that Detroit defense is just gonna be too much for the Cavaliers, and I'm still waiting on Evan Mobley to be that guy. What do you think about that? Evan Mobley, he's okay, but I'm waiting for him to take the next step. Does he have a step in?
Evan Mobley is a good player, but he's soft. And this is my opinion. He's a pretty boy. He doesn't like getting there and banging with the big boys. And Detroit likes to bang. So I think that's going to be an issue in this series. And because we all know Detroit, they might not be the most, their bigs might not be the most
hold on, pause.
But they are tough. What? Evan Mobley's soft.
Yeah, hold on, pause, son. You said they want to bang? They like to bang?
They
like
what we
talking
bang. About? Well, when another guy's banging you and banging you, you got to be ready for that. Evan Mobley ain't ready for the bang.
He said it. I think that's a plausible moment. I wouldn't either. I'm not ready to be banged by another man. I'm sorry.
You want to win a championship? I just think
that
Jody?
He won the defensive player of the year last year.
I think it's freezing up.
I ain't fucking with you. But no, man, I think that Mobley is the key. Mobley give you 20 and 10 and limit Jalen Dorm to what he did, because Jalen Dorm was only giving 10 and 8 in the last series until the last game where he had 15 and 15. So it's been an APB out on Jalen Dorm. Just being the first time All-Star, he disappeared in the first round. He got lucky that Cade Cunningham is who he is, and Orlando Magic is not a very good team. So going to the Detroit side, what guy on the front line is going to have to show up besides Jalen Dorn?
Ooh, That's interesting. Isaiah, is he gonna do something? He don't have to score a lot of points, but he's gonna have to make it. Like I said, I think the front court for Detroit is way tougher than the front court for Cleveland, and I think that could be the difference in this series. Because the man with the fro, he's not very tough. He's a good player, but he's not tough either. So I can see Isaiah Maxwell being a big part of this series.
But see, I think that Jared Allen showed his last game in that game 7 that he was very vocal when he got into the altercation towards the end of the game. He was telling the Toronto Raptors to go home. And I've never seen him play with that type of intensity. And he's going to need that intensity in Motown because you know how physical Detroit wants to make it. They wants to make it real murky. They want to make it real muddy. You know, they want to get it out the fucking mud in Detroit. And Cleveland wants to play a finesse style. Like you said, like you got guys shooting 15 footers. Fuck that. I need you to get in there and, like you said, when you're banging a man, I'm not about
if you want to win a championship, you got to do some banging. That is what it is.
But yeah, man, I think Jared Allen against Beef Stew is going to be an interesting matchup because Beef Stew can't just fight everybody. You just can't fight everybody, man. You're gonna have to actually score the ball. And what I haven't been seeing is guys in the low post being able to give Detroit any buckets. When they needed buckets, they gotta if it ain't Cade Cunningham, it ain't nobody. And of course they got bailed out with Tobias Harris, but I don't trust Tobias Harris having another series like this in the next round. If you putting your money on Tobias Harris coming out scoring like he did against Orlando, you're a very brave person to put money on that. Like, I'm not saying he can't give you, because he is a veteran. You know, Tobias Harris has been around the league for quite some time, but I'm not going to bank my savings on Tobias Harris having another series. Not saying it like he did last series. Not saying he can't go and give you 15, 18 points a game, but to give you 30 points a game in a closeout game, I don't know if Tobias Harris can do that again. I don't know if he's gonna do that. I wouldn't bank on it.
No, sir.
But we'll see. They got Tobias Harris playing power forward too. They got him playing power forward. I wonder why they got him. It's a different league when you got a 6'8" guy playing power forward. Like,
oh yeah,
Jalen Dorm. What is Jalen Dorm? He only 6'9". 10,
yeah, he's not a 7 footer.
He the new Ben Wallace. Kathy said Detroit loves to bang everyone. Yeah, he's not. Kathy said Detroit loves to bang everyone. Just check the murder rates. Yo, that's crazy work.
Wow.
I didn't want to take it to the streets. I didn't want to take it to the streets. But we got another series that's going on in the Western Conference, man, and we talking about the Lakers. It seemed like Oklahoma City ain't played in a month. It seemed like Oklahoma City seemed like they have not played in about a month, man, and they trying to rest their star and Williams. Hopefully Williams can get back healthy. I'm not sure Luka Doncic is going to be ready for game 1 in this series tomorrow, but I would love to see a healthy Luka Doncic with LeBron James and Austin Reeves. Do you think the Lakers got any chance of winning this series, or how many games you think is going to be before OKC put them to bed?
The only chance the Lakers really have, they have to make this game ugly as well, because they can't run and gun with Oklahoma City. The roster is too deep. There's no way they can compete with the players. I mean, you're depending on Marcus Smart, Rui, some of these guys to have outstanding basketball games. You're expecting LeBron James to play great every single game. I mean, he's getting older, and I think you're going to have only a day off in between each game this series. It's going to be tough. I just don't see them winning too many games. I can see the Lakers getting one game at home. I got the Lakers losing this series in 5. So yeah, it's going to be tough for them unless Oklahoma City just plays like shit. They got so many players on the roster. Somebody could be making shots.
I don't know what it is that LA can do to win any game in this series, man. It's going to be very difficult. LeBron James is going to have to play like the LeBron James of 10 years ago when he was with Cleveland and how he went against that Golden State team, because this is the type of machine they're going against in Oklahoma City. We know SGA is unguardable. Who do you have on the perimeter that can guard? You're going to try to put Marcus Smart on him. And that's going to put Marcus Smart in foul trouble. You're not going to put Luke Kennard on him, and you're definitely not going to put Austin Reeves on him. So it's just going to be very interesting to see if Williams is back. And you got Chet. and you still got Hardenstein, so Hardenstein can neutralize DeAndre Ayton. And I just don't think the Lakers have any chance, especially without Luka Doncic in the lineup, man. I think they got a slight chance with Luka Doncic in the lineup, but I still don't think they. It's going to be probably a gentleman's sweep just because they're going to want to lose a game. But I wouldn't be surprised if OKC swept them. Like I'll be honest, like 'cause when they played in the regular season, I mean they were beating the Lakers by 20 and 30 damn points without Jalen Williams. So we know that they can take 5 starters out and put 5 reserve players in and still have the same magnitude of scoring with their second team. And I think the Lakers, their bench gets extremely thin, especially when it comes to scoring. After you look past Luke Kennard, who else is a guy off that bench that can score the ball for you?
They don't have anybody. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This roster is, I mean, unless Austin Reeves can really help LeBron out offensively, it's going to be tough. I mean, I just don't see them winning this series. Like you said, I'm just giving them one game because they're the Lakers, but I don't really think they might not even get that.
I got a strong feeling that OKC is going to sweep them, and then we can see hopefully Oklahoma City against the San Antonio Spurs. Hopefully, I don't want nobody to jump the gun on either one of those series and disrespect the Lakers or the Timberwolves. But Kathy keep calling him LaFlop, but we are looking at greatness right now. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone flops.
They said Ags, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Austin, she said Ags Bronny James to help his dad. I mean, but it's funny that people talk about Bronny James. Bronny James was the 54th, 55th pick of the draft, and he's doing what a 55th pick of the draft is supposed to do: come in and play a couple minutes a game. Name another team in the NBA that got significant minutes from a second-year player that was a 55th player picked in the draft. I'll wait. If y'all got somebody that's playing significant minutes that are a playoff team that was 55th pick of the draft, I want to know what their average is. I would love
it. They're only talking about him because of who his father is. If his father was not LeBron, if I was his daddy, no one would be talking about Bronny James. I probably could have got him drafted. But it's about who his father is. Whether you like it or don't like it, it's just comes with the territory. Whatever he does, they're gonna highlight it because his father is LeBron James. That's just part of it.
Isn't that scenario old by now though? Ain't it kind of played out that we still talking about Bronny James at this juncture? I mean, I understand he did it his rookie year, but we're in year 2, and he's actually when he does get it.
No, it's not played out because he plays for the Lakers, and his daddy's still playing. So no, it's not a played out. We don't sit here and talk about it a lot, but it's still something that people talk about because we've never seen a father and son play on the same team in the NBA. It just never happens. So no, it's something they're going to talk about until LeBron hangs it up.
True. Kathy said, I never liked LeBron from the jump. She never, and I get it. Some people don't like him. I enjoy the greatness of LeBron James, regardless of what people think of, regardless what, him lying about reading books and, all that other stuff, man. I think LeBron James is a guy that has elevated the NBA to a level that we will never have seen. I mean, this guy got a lot of people paid, a lot of TV contracts, and I think he's a significant member of society with that being LeBron James. What's up to my man King Minks? He said, "My guys, what it do, all the way from Memphis, Tennessee." What's going on? My man King Minks, Dwayne King Minks in the building.
But you know what, Joey?
Kathy said Eddie Bird never asked his brother to get him.
You don't have to like LeBron James, but the man is a role model. He's an American dream. He come out of nowhere and made it to this point. Not one scandal, not anything. He's been a model citizen, won championships, carried teams, be a great player. I don't know why people hate this guy so much. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, he has done some crazy stuff in his career. He has flopped, and that's not going to take away from anything of his greatness. I believe that his greatness has been overshadowed by some of those things. Yeah, and that's what we're about to talk about. Speaking of flopping, let's talk about what Jaylen Brown's comments were after the game, or a day after the game against the 76ers, where Jaylen Brown was very vocal towards the referees. He was stating that Joel Embiid was flopping. He said he was flopping, and is no place in the game for guys that flop. So, what did you think about those comments from a guy that was in the top 5 in MVP, already won a championship, very educated, very good player? Why did he make those comments? Do you agree or disagree with the comments that he made a day after the game was over?
I don't agree with what he's saying. Does Joel Embiid flop? Yeah. I mean, there's players on every NBA team that flops. The flopping is not something new. This is not some new shit that people have just started doing. Vlade Divac used to flop as a big man back in the day. Shaq used to tell him all the time, "Play me straight up, Vlade." It happens. I'm not saying you have to like it, but that's part of the game. Jaylen Brown just sounds like a hater because they were up 3-1 in this series. They should have never got to a game 7. Blame yourself for this instead of talking about them flopping. They went on in game 7. I don't want to hear it, bro. It sounds if falling on deaf ears talking to the fans about flopping when you had a 3-1 lead in the series and you lost game 7 at home. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. Kathy said Eddie Bird never asked his brother to get him in the NBA, talking about Larry Bird. And then she said, Don said, well, if LeBron's final year, then there are his last 4 games. The Lakers are going to get he said he's going to get swept and not play the game anymore. You were flat out didn't get the job done. 3-1, up 3-1. Now, I was extremely disappointed with Jaylen Brown because I think you were a lot better than that. You didn't criticize your coach. Everybody say that he's a straight shooter. You started Ron Harper Jr., Greza, and who was the other guy that was in the starting lineup that shouldn't have been in that starting lineup? Why are you not going Joe Mazzulla? I don't know what the fuck he was thinking about starting them dudes. Like, for real, you started 3 guys that took away the minutes. If you would have started Pritchard, I would have understood Pritchard. Pritchard's a guy that came off the bench. You didn't have Jason Tatum, but that was some bullshit what he did. He started those guys and it backfired because they were, by the time he took those guys out the game, the damn Celtics were down by 8 or 9 points. You got to play Jaylen Brown. You got to play Derek White, who had a good game yesterday. Those guys got to play 40-something. This is game 7. You don't roll the dice, and you do that in game 6. You do that in game 5. You do that game 3. Game 7, Mazzulla, you outthought yourself, and that was the fucking worst coaching decision that I've ever seen him make. And that guy, it's a reason why those guys are some of the guys that come off the bench. It's a reason why Graza has been around the league for 4 to 5 years, and he's the third center on the team. You didn't even play Vucevic. He didn't even play Vucevic. You went and made this trade at the trade deadline, and you didn't even play Vucevic none in this game. You didn't, bruh. So he didn't play him one time in this game. This is a guy that can shoot the 3-point shot, can at least make Embiid not stand in the post. You didn't play him one time. He did not enter the game one fucking time. So not one fucking time. And the person that had the most energy, Cater, you didn't even play him in many. I know he got a lot of fouls, but you got to let that play out. He had 17 points and 13 rebounds in limited minutes. He was giving you energy. He was the only person that seemed like he wanted to compete with Joel Embiid. But Jaylen Brown, you're talking about the refs. You're talking about the fucking refs after the game. You're talking about Joel Embiid flopping. Well, what about when you couldn't stop Tyrese Maxey was getting any shot he wanted? In the 4th quarter, Jaylen Brown supposed to be this defensive stopper. Why didn't you say, hey, put me on Mad Max? He got 2 layups in the last fucking 2 minutes of that game. That's how y'all lost. Jaylen Brown, you shooting 3-point shot. You're not a good 3-point shooter. You're not. But you're talking about the fucking refs? Come on, Soul. Talk to me, man.
Not only that, Joey, they put Jaylen Brown was guarding. Jaylen Brown was guarding Joel Embiid in spots in that 4th quarter also. I mean, you want to blame what's ruining the game. You're talking about flopping. How about the 3-point shot in the fourth quarter? When in a 1-point game, you guys were down 1 point, and you constantly shooting threes and constantly missing threes. So you want to blame flopping. You shooting too many goddamn threes. If the threes ain't going in, drive to the basket, shoot a mid-range jump or whatever. They wasted about 8 to 10 possessions in the fourth quarter by jacking up threes that weren't going in. I just don't get some of these NBA teams.
Why ain't you blaming Pritchard? Pritchard was unstoppable in game. Was it game 4? Pritchard had like 32 fucking points when y'all went up 3-1. He didn't play well none of the last 3 games of the series. He had 11 fucking points in 30 plus minutes. But you mad at the refs. You're not mad that your guys could not execute down the stretch. You're not mad at your coach for not playing Vucevic. I'm still up in arms like, why the fuck you didn't put Vucevic in the game? At least that would have drew Embiid away from the basket. And the way Derek White was attacking, the only person looked like they were attacking all game was Derek White. He started off with a attacking the basket. Derek White was attacking the fucking basket. Everybody else.
Do you remember? You remember what I said before Game 7? I said it depends on what Joe Mazzulla's hairline looks like. He needed a haircut before the game, and he didn't get that haircut. He coached like it too.
But you starting 3 guys that shouldn't have been. You started 3 guys that shouldn't play 0 minutes. He played 3 guys that should have played 0 minutes in that fucking game, bro. You can't take a minute. You're a championship winning coach for the Boston Celtics. You don't coach for the Brooklyn Nets. You don't coach for the Sacramento. You coach for the fucking Boston Celtics that expect championships. You were the lead dog on getting to the championship. Boston was supposed to walk their way to back-to-back years. Y'all get knocked out in the second round, and y'all get knocked out in the fucking first round. And these are after winning the championship 3 years ago. Y'all are supposed to be on a crash course winning a 3-peat, and got now more questions than fucking answers on that team. Now you got to think, do you trade one of them motherfuckers? Do you question again? That's got to be a question. So talk to me. That's got to be a fucking question. Do you keep Derek White? Do you go make a splash and try to go get Giannis? What do you do? Do you try to lure Steph Curry away from Golden State? Talk to me, so.
I would say if anybody going to get traded, it's going to be y'all that's doing all the yakking. Jaylen Brown. I mean, if I'm going to trade anybody, it's going to be that guy. Jason Tatum, he don't say nothing. He just hoops. So if anybody gets traded, it's going to be Jaylen Brown. What are you going to get for him? I don't know. But I would say yes. I would say yes to trade Jaylen Brown if anybody going to get traded off that roster.
Kathy said, quit jacking up all them damn threes from half court. She said, work on the half court and take it to the high percentage shots. Get the ball to the basket. Get easy buckets. Boston was out coached. They were out hustled. You can blame it on Jason Tatum not being there all you want, but even when Jason Tatum was there, they lost 2 games in a row with Jason Tatum in the lineup. Jason Tatum did as much as he possibly could coming off an Achilles tear 10 months after tearing his Achilles. We can't blame it on Jason Tatum this year. Jaylen Brown wanted to be the lead dog. He had every opportunity to win this game. And only thing we're going to remember you as is getting on your own personal live and complaining about the referees. I'm very, very disappointed in Jaylen Brown. You're better than that. You're a better player than that. You're a better you compete better than that. I'm very disappointed in that. So I'm not happy about him getting on his own personal live streams and complaining about and a guy you was hugged up with after the game. You was kikiing high-high with Joel Embiid after the game and then kind of shitting on him. I don't like that. So
you see Jason Tatum post game. Of course, he didn't play the last 2 games of the series. I think his body just wore out, man. He came back from that injury. No one thought he'd be able to play, and he was throwing shots. kind of at the head coach saying, "Yeah, I played about 35 minutes a night when I come back from injury." Basically saying, "I think I was playing too many minutes." So Missoula might be in trouble here.
Yeah, because he, like I said, you coach for the Boston Celtics, bro. You got put out in the first round as being the second seed, and you got put out a year ago in the second round, and you were they the first seed, the number one seed last year, or second seed last year? They might have been second seed last
I think they were second seed.
too. I think Cleveland was the number one seed, right?
Yeah.
So you've been the second seed in back-to-back season. You got put out in the first and second round, and you the Boston Celtic head coach. This is not, like I said, this ain't Brooklyn, bro. This ain't the Nets. This ain't the Kings. This ain't the Phoenix Suns. This is the, and I'm very disappointed. And if I'm Paul Pierce, if I'm Bird, if I'm Rick Parrish, if I'm Danny Ainge, if I'm Kevin McHale, I know Bill Walton is turning over in his grave. I am very, very disappointed in what I'm seeing, because you would have never seen this from those past Boston Celtic players. You would have never heard that. You give respect. They beat y'all. Point blank. The 76ers beat y'all, bro. All this, nah. Donald said, like I said the other day about the Nuggets, you have a small window for a system before the window closes for a championship with the core player, that the style that they play. I think the Celtics and Nuggets are the same spot. That's very true. And right now, you gotta make a change on rosters. So you got to make a change in Boston, and you got to make a change in Denver. I don't know what the changes are, but both of those teams are going to have a makeover. And I think both of those teams, even with having the Joker on Denver, you got to kick the tires on trying to get Giannis out of Milwaukee. Somebody has to get Giannis out of Milwaukee, man. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, Giannis is going to be is definitely going to be in the play this offseason. The Knicks, you throw the Knicks in there. If the Knicks find a way to lose this series, this next round, they're going to be talking about him going to the Knicks also. So Giannis going to be a hot product in the offseason. Somebody's going to trade a lot of players and picks for him.
Donald said the Celtics only have 2 championships in the last 40 years. How long before we start saying the organization is not a top-tier organization anymore? Donald, even if they got 2 championships in the last, we can't say 40 years, because they had them, they won in what, 09, or was it 09 and 07, one of those years, and then they won again 10 years later. So yeah, they got 2 championships, but they got 2 championships in the 2000s. There's not a lot of teams that can say they got 2 championships in the 2000s. We got Golden State, San Antonio, Miami. Who else?
That's it, bro.
Who?
That's it.
That's what I'm saying. So if you got 2 championships in the 2000s, you're still a top tier organization, because there's not a lot of teams in the 2000s that got multiple championships aside from Miami, Golden State, like I just mentioned. The Celtics got multiple championships, and maybe OKC this year. But look at Cleveland, don't have multiple championships. Name Detroit got 1 championship. San Antonio, of course, they got multiple championships, but they ain't won a championship in 8 years. So I know what you're trying to say, Donald, but I don't agree with that, because when you got 2 championships and other teams ain't won shit, you still a top tier organization.
Yeah.
But that's our NBA session. Y'all stay tuned. That's all. If y'all want to talk about it, y'all. We're not gonna keep y'all long, because we know some of the games are on. But in the NFL, I know this is not big news. Rod Taylor, the backup quarterback, signed a deal with the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers are trying to get some significant help as a backup quarterback, losing Malik Willis. And we know that Jordan Love, the last few seasons, is going to miss about 2 or 3 games a year. And those games are very impactful in that tough NFC North, where you can be in first place 1 week and 3 weeks later you in last place. So talk to me about Tyrod Taylor, a guy that's been well-traveled around the NFL, getting a deal with the Green Bay Packers at 37 years of age.
You hit the nail on the head, Joe. You got to have your good veteran backup quarterback to back up Jordan Love, because some people are going to still think the Green Bay is one of the better teams in the NFC. So if Jordan Love, who does miss games from time to time, if he goes down, you want to have a veteran that you can count on to help lead this stacked roster and keep them flowing in the right direction. Because you got the Bears, you got Detroit, they're going to be right there in this division. So yeah, they definitely want to have him a good backup. I think it's a good pickup by Green Bay.
I definitely like to pick up because we seen last year what Malik Willis was able to do to keep them in contention, and we know like the Bears are on the up. Detroit is not going nowhere no time soon, and then you had teams like at the bottom, the Minnesota Vikings. If they can get it right at the quarterback position, they'll be right back up there. So you don't want to have it where Jordan Love is out the lineup. You got a guy that you can't win a game with. You know you can win a game with Tyron Taylor. Well,
Yeah.
he's been the stopgap quarterback in Cleveland. He's been a stopgap quarterback with the Chargers, with the Giants, the Jets, Buffalo. Matter of fact, people always talking about Josh Allen. I want y'all to go back and look at Tyrod Taylor. He was the team. Buffalo had the longest drought for being in the playoffs until Tyrod Taylor got them to the playoffs. I think it was like 15. It was before Josh Allen got there, and then of course they parted ways with him and got Josh Allen. And of course, that was the right thing to do. But I like the pickup for Green Bay. Green Bay is slowly putting together their team back together. Micah Parsons, we don't know when Micah Parsons is going to be available. We're not sure about that. But regardless of that, I think this is a solid pickup. If we know if Tyron Taylor got to play 3 to 4 games, we know he can go 3-1, 2-2, and that might be just enough, make the playoffs, because you got to think the Green Bay Packers have been in the playoffs every year since Jordan Love has been the quarterback.
Yeah.
Here.
That's not going to get any easier.
So, but yeah, we got a lot of if you go around leagues, a lot of rookies. We saw the number 1 pick Fernando Mendoza in camp for the Raiders. What do you like about this kid, and does he have a real good chance of starting, even though they signed Kirk Cousins to that large deal?
No, I don't. I think their game plan is to let him sit on the bench and let Kirk Cousins school him. Probably teach him how to get contracts. Kirk Cousins definitely good at that. I don't think they're really sold on this roster 100%. Yes, I don't think they want to throw that rookie out to the wolves. Most teams do that. I think the Raiders are trying to go old school and, hey, let's put the veteran out. Let the veteran take the lumps up front, and then maybe put the rookie in towards the end of the season, depending on how things are going. So I don't think Mendoza is going to go out there and start week 1.
I don't know if he's gonna start week 1, but I'm a strong believer that you put the best players on the field. And if Mendoza is the best quarterback in that quarterback room, you got to play him. Remember, we talked about this just 2 years ago with Drake May. And we said if Drake May is the best quarterback in that quarterback room, you put Drake May out there. You can't just put a veteran just because he's a veteran out on the field. But I believe that everybody at every position needs to earn their minutes. And I think that where Mayo lost his fucking job because of that. Remember, Mayo lost his fucking job because he didn't play Drake May until like week 5 or 6. I believe if he would have played Drake May from jump, they would have won a couple of those games. We would have seen how good Drake May is, and maybe Mayo would have got another year on his contract. But remember, he got released after his first year. So if I'm the coach, a rookie head coach with the Raiders, which they have a rookie head coach over there in Kubiak, I believe that if I'm Kubiak and Mendoza's ripping it up in the preseason and minicamp, I'm thinking about playing Mendoza day 1. What do you think about this, so?
Yeah, if he proves that he's ready to start during the preseason, yeah. But I mean, I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is Joe Montana. Of course, we know he's not. But he's definitely a serviceable starter, and I just think they're doing this because I don't think they think that Raiders roster is complete. So I think that's why they're doing this. They don't want to start him off on the bad foot, I guess. I don't know, but I think Kirk Cousins going to end up being that starter there. But I can see your point of starting the rookie if he's playing well, but I still think they're going to make him wait. Even if he plays well in the preseason, they're going to say, well, let's just hold off. Let's get Kirk the first month of the season. If he's playing like shit, then we'll put you out there.
Well, Kathy says she wouldn't be surprised if Mendoza was a starter from all the preseason games. And this is my thing. This is a whole scenario. We all seen this happen in Seattle when Russell Wilson was drafted, but they had just acquired Matt Flynn from the Green Bay Packers as the starting quarterback and paid him a nice chunk of money to be the starting quarterback. Where Russell Wilson was not going to be denied. In the way that Russell Wilson played in the preseason and mini camp, you couldn't keep that young guy off the field. And he had a great rookie season, 26 touchdown passes in his rookie season, and then he turned around and won a Super Bowl in year 2. If I think if you have an opportunity and you got a quarterback that's ripping it up, I got to play him, man. That's what I said about Drake May. If Drake May is the best option at the quarterback position in New England, you think what 2 years of a starter? The dude was in the Super Bowl, bro. Now he played like shit in the playoffs, but nevertheless, he was in the Super Bowl. If I'm the Raiders, I'm really thinking about if Mendoza is doing everything we want him to do, and if it's an even race, so I'm gonna give it to Mendoza over Kirk Cousins if they think it's even. That's just my opinion.
Well, I
But
think that
so
Gerard Mayo didn't have all the control in New England. He was told not to start Drake May. That's just my opinion.
yeah, and we know as you know, he was the guy that was the scapegoat and he was fired after just 1 year. Then you bring in Vrabel and then you're in the Super Bowl. And then we made the right decision. Do you know if you made the right decision? Do you think Mayo couldn't have done the same thing if you gave him all the tools? But that's a whole different conversation. When the NFL gets started, we'll have that. But some other NFL news around the league is the Cleveland Browns have a quarterback. We call it controversy competition between Shador Sanders, who was a rookie last year. We know what he did in his rookie year. We know he was a fifth round pick, knowing that he shouldn't have been. Deshaun Watson is back from injury, and people are saying he's looking really good. It's easy to look good without pads on, though. So like, if you're a good quarterback and you ain't got the rush in your all in your face, coming down your throat, pause. But Deshaun Watson is back, and a lot of people really are going to give Deshaun Watson a true shake at the quarterback position. What do you think is going to be the advantage for either one of these quarterbacks going into minicamp?
Well, Deshaun Watson, he has the advantage in this scenario because if I'm an owner, I'm thinking I still owe this kid a bunch of money. I want him to play. I'm pretty sure he's probably already been the head coach's ears and look, man. I know you might think that the starting Shador, but I want Watson to get out there and see if he can take the leadership and lead this team back to the glory days because they still owe him a lot of money. This might be the last year of his deal. We might have another year after this. But if I'm Cleveland, I'm probably going to start Deshaun Watson also. Now, if he plays bad, I'll put Shador out there. But I think going into it, all the training camps and everything, I think Deshaun Watson going to be the guy. I think he deserves it.
See, this is my thing. So, because people got to understand that Todd Monk is the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, was once the Georgia offensive coordinator when they won back-to-back championships. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. Of course, also he was the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, who had Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Now, Jody, everybody said, Jody, what are you talking about? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. When he was at Georgia and they were doing a recruiting trip, he had Shador Sanders come in for a recruiting visit. So he really liked his intangibles at the quarterback position when he was at Georgia before he went to Jackson State. Of course, he ended up taking Jackson State because his dad took the head coaching job. Now, so we know that Munkins likes Shador's as well. But we also got to understand Todd Munkins was the offensive coordinator when he had Lamar Jackson. Don't Watson has a lot of characteristics of Lamar Jackson. If he's healthy, Watson can be a Lamar Jackson in a type of offense that caters to his ability. I think in Cleveland under Kevin Stefanski, Deshaun Watson never had an offense that catered to his ability. We act like Deshaun Watson is dog shit. He ain't dog shit. He just ain't been on the field, even if he can play or not. But in this scenario, you got a sticky situation because Shador Sanders is going into his second year. You can still sign a lot of players because he ain't making a lot of money. Deshaun Watson is making a lot of money, and you can get some of that cap space off your roster if you cut him this year. So Cleveland's in a very sticky situation because if Deshaun Watson goes out there and play well, let's say Deshaun Watson goes back to when he played in Houston. Guess what they got to do? So they got to sign him again. They got to sign, and he's not going to go for peanuts. He's going to try to get a deal that if he goes out there and throws 35 touchdowns and throws for 4,200 yards and they win the division, Deshaun Watson is going to want Dak Prescott money. So now you in a scenario where you got to resign this motherfucker. So Cleveland's in a very sticky situation that can go either way. So
I can't. You say something? Well, I would say just Yeah, I would say it doesn't matter to me. If I'm Cleveland, I want to win. If this kid goes out there and he plays well, I got to give him a new contract in the offseason. It is what it is. I'm ready to win some football games. Put the best guy out there.
Absolutely. I'm look, I'm hoping for whoever can get out there can get the ball to our team, the same color uniform, and score some fucking touchdowns. So I'm hoping that's what they do. Also, there's a rumor out there that possibly Nick Chubb can return to the Cleveland Browns. Now that will warm my heart if Nick Chubb is able to be a Brown again, man. Even if it's just to come in and just to retire in as a Brown, I would love to see that, man. That'll be heartwarming for me. But so another Brown, David Njoku is supposed to be visiting with the Chargers and maybe signing with him as early as today or tonight. Do you like that move for the Chargers getting David Njoku to get some insurance at the tight end position?
Oh, most definitely. Justin Herbert, you can never have enough weapons. They short on weapons to me over there. So bringing him in there, if he can stay healthy, which has been his issue, it seemed like when he's with Cleveland, he definitely can upgrade that roster.
Yeah, I think that if he's healthy, and that's been a big if for the last 2 years, David Njoku's health. When he was healthy, he was a Pro Bowl tight end. When he's not healthy, we don't know what he can do. He only had over 300 and like 30 some yards receiving last year because he missed probably 75% of the season last year. I wish he would have just went ahead and came back and played for the Browns. I think that him at the tight end position, Cleveland wanted him back. He didn't want to come back. It's understandable. Kathy said she had enough of Deshaun Watson. She said she had enough of that shit. But so, man, great show, man. Today we're gonna take a day off and we're gonna try to get back on here on Wednesday. We go every other day until the NBA finals come about. We want to go every day. WNBA is right around the corner. WNBA starts in the next 2 weeks. I think they start on May the 17th. So we'll keep y'all abreast on the WNBA. But great show today, man. Very good topics on NBA and the NFL. We'll see more in the NFL because we'll know what's going to happen with AJ Brown and sometime because AJ Brown is supposed to be moving in the next month or so, going to the New England Patriots. We don't know. Kathy said Jerry Rice left and then came back with a 10-day contract and retired as a 49er. Yeah, he did. People forget that. Do you know that Jerry Rice played for Seattle?
Yeah.
Do you know that so?
Yeah, I know.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
bad idea.
Give me your final thought as we get out of here.
Speaking of AJ Brown, the Philadelphia Eagles are in a lot of turmoil right now. You got a new offensive coordinator coming in there again. AJ Brown was having one of his camp for the children, and he's making statements to them like, I'm always going to love you guys. I love Philly. Basically saying goodbye. He knows after June 1st, he's going to get traded. They drafted a young receiver from USC. Can he take AJ Brown's spot? We don't know. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles, who've had a grip hold on this division the last few years, I think that's getting ready to change. Dallas had a really good draft. Washington had a good draft, and also the Giants had a good draft. So I think moving forward, I think the tide is going to turn a little bit, and I think Philly might make a dip, and one of those other teams in the NFC East are going to make a move and try to win that division next couple of years.
All right, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Final thought is I thought the transfer portal was closed, but evidently the transfer portal is still open because Tennessee just landed, I think, one of the best guards in this transfer portal, Juke Harris from Wake Forest, a guy that's averaging over 21 points a game. I think Tennessee, I don't know what it is in the water, but Tennessee been getting a lot of top-ranked recruits and transfers. Rick Barnes has really got something cooking in Tennessee, but now you just can't cook. At some point, the Tennessee Volunteers has got to win the SEC and make a run for the championship because this guy Juke Harris is the real deal. 21 points a game. He got 2 years of eligibility left. Let's see what he can do in the Tennessee Volunteer uniform because I thought he was the number one guy in the transfer portal, but they had him ranked as number 3. So I guess they got a couple guys that was higher ranked than him. But I think that Juke Harris is going to be a well received addition to the Tennessee Volunteers. And I think that he's going to be the reason why the Tennessee Volunteers somehow win the SEC next year because all those guys, the A Cups and all those guys, I don't think Florida's going to be as tough. They lost a lot of guys to the draft. They will lose a lot of guys to the draft. A Cup won't be back. Kentucky is in disarray. This is the time for Tennessee to make a move in the finally win the ACC out. That's my final thought. So,
yeah, I can see that.
Once again, I'm your host, Jody Coleman. This is their time. Tennessee, this the other UT. This is their time to try to win the SEC. You can't when you can't keep waiting. You can't keep waiting. But I'm your host, Jody Coleman of Against the Grain Sports Podcast, Uncut. We got my man Jarrell Solo on Sports, Glenn, all the way from San Antonio, Texas. We got my nephew Donald, the voice of the youth, in his absence. Jason, the hefty lefty. Michael, the People's St. Perry. Ray, more than just a Barbara Lindsay. Andrew mic'd up, and we can't do none of this without J. Kane, the chef, cooking it up in the kitchen. So what we doing until Wednesday, man?
We working, baby.
See y'all Wednesday.